Well, welcome to Art Again with Mrs. Maher. I'm so happy to see you again. I've seen a few pictures from your last exercise, and I'm well pleased. Today, we're going to talk about shapes. Yes, we're moving on. We're going to talk about geometrical shapes, and that has to do with math. Don't roll your eyes at me. This is a fun math subject, and I think you're going to enjoy it very much. Now, let's look at my board. I'm moving the camera around. Let me adjust it a little bit more. All right. Look at this picture down here. Let me lift it up just a little bit there for a moment. This was done by my grandson Elias. Oh, a long time ago. You know, he's a teenager now. But look at the different shapes in this picture. I see squares, rectangles. Oh my. What else do you see? In art, we're going to use many geometrical shapes. And in order to understand how to use them, we need to understand what they are. I think you'll have fun. Let me move this away. Look at this picture down here. I'm going to have to set this down, excuse me. Oh, I'm so happy to be back with you guys again. Look at this picture here. What shapes do you see? Think about it. Oh, I think I heard somebody say, I think I see a rhombus here. A diamond shape? That might also be a parallelogram. I'm not sure. We'll have to explore that. Do you see a square in this picture? Where is it? How many squares do you see? Do you see triangles in this picture? How many triangles do you see? I'll give you time to count them. Yeah, okay. What about rectangles? Do you see rectangles? I bet you all found everything, right? Let's look and see. I see a, no, that's not quite a triangle, is it? Because it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Oh, I almost tricked you, didn't I? I see a triangle here. Triangle has 3 sides. Yes. What about up here? What do we have? 1, 2, 3. I see that triangle. Ah, there's a triangle, there's a triangle, there's a triangle. I don't have the bottom of the picture in the screen. Oh, there we go. Okay. Do I see some squares? How many squares do I see? Well, I would have to get out my ruler and measure. I don't think that's quite a square. I know this, if I extended these lines, it would be a square. It's cut off. Yeah, it gets a little confusing, doesn't it? Yes. Because when we study geometric shapes, we're dealing with geometry. And art doesn't necessarily have to follow the rules of geometry. But if we understand the basics of geometry, we can do so much with our artwork. Let's talk about the definition here. Geometric shapes. They can be defined in mathematics, and I know none of you are liking that definition, but I think I can make it simpler for you. Geometric shapes all have common names, and there are tools that can help us create geometric shapes if we want them to be mathematically correct. I'll talk about those tools in a little bit. And the one thing about geometric shapes that is important is they can be measured. They can be measured. All right. What did we just talk about? They're defined by mathematics. All right. How are geometric shapes defined? Say it a little bit louder. I didn't hear you. Mathematics. They have common names. They have common names. And you know many of those names. Look at that. You know what a square is. You know what a circle is. You know what a rectangle is. Those are common names. What are some of the common names that we're going to talk about? What? The square, the circle, the rectangle. Oh, and a few more exciting shapes as we move along. And what else do we know? They can be measured. Now, we're not going to go in so much into how we measure angles and the definitions of things that precise. So I want you to relax and just understand some of the basics. Some of the terms I'm going to use today, I will introduce you to the terms and break them down for you as best I can. But the important thing is that when you hear those terms again related to math, you'll think, oh, Mrs. Maher talked about that, and I used it in art. It's going to help me understand math a little bit better later on, I promise. All right. Now, let's talk about that square. Let's talk about that square. Oh, I think the important thing to understand about this square has 4 lines, and they are all equal in length. If you draw a square with a 1-inch line here, there's going to be a 1-inch line here, a 1-inch line here, and a 1-inch line here. Oh, circle. How many of you have used circles in your art already? And I know you learned these shapes when you were in preschool or kindergarten. A circle has no straight lines. A circle is created by curves, continuous curves. And then the rectangle, let's talk about that. A rectangle is sort of like a square, but it's not square. What do we have? In a rectangle, we have 2 long lines and 2 short lines. Now, remember when we talked about horizontal and vertical, across and up and down? A rectangle can be positioned with those long lines going up and down and the short lines coming horizontal. A rectangle can be shaped with the long lines going horizontal and the short lines going vertical, and so many other ways. Yes. Oh, all right. Through the magic of tape, I have to take this board down and bring up this board. Let me see if I can get this a little bit closer. You know, when I took that first board down, I put it on the floor and it just sort of slid across the floor. All right, let's see. Can I get you all here again? There we go. All right. There are more shapes that we need to learn about, and they are all geometric shapes. Look at this. Poly. Poly means many. Look at this. Poly means many. And we have many shapes here, don't we? Look at that. Oh, these shapes are so fun. In these shapes, we're going to see the beginning prefix tri. Tri means 3. Let's look at the triangle. How many sides do we have on the triangle? Now, tri and all of these words here refer to the angles, not the sides, but the angles and the sides match. Yeah, okay, so it gets easy here. Let's count the triangle sides. 1, 2, 3. Tri, 3. All right, now, if we look at the angles, we have 1 angle here, 1 angle here, and 1 angle here. We have 3 sides and we have 3 angles. All right, let's look. Quad. Quad means 4. All right, let's look for a 4 up here. I found it. It's right here. That means we have 4 angles. You can also think of it as 4 sides. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's count the angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Do you know what an angle is? An angle is where 2 lines join and creates a place that we can measure. What kind of angle is this versus this? Oh, okay. Now, let's see. Pent. Pent means 5. Can you find a 5-sided, 5-angled shape? Looking and looking with your sharp little eyes. Who can spy? I spy with my sharp little eyes. Pentagon. Penta. Pent means 5. It's kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles. Okay, good. Oh, what about number 6? Hex. Oh, a hexagon. Where's a 6-sided shape? Come on, you're spying with your sharp little eyes. Did you find it? Did you find it? Yes! Yes! 6 sides, 6 angles. Great. You're doing great. See, this isn't so hard, is it? It's not scary. But if we can understand the geometry of shapes, we can use them in art, and we can actually figure out how to manipulate them a little bit. So we have to understand our shapes. What about 7? Hept. A heptagon. Where's a heptagon? Oh, come on, I gave you a clue. I see the number 7 there. Count the lines. Start down at the bottom. It's easiest to remember where to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, what number comes next? 8. Octa. You know what? That sounds like an octopus, doesn't it? Do you think an octopus has 8 squiggly legs? I don't know for sure. I didn't check that out. But octa means 8. Come on, guys. Right here. And that's an 8. It didn't show up so good. I'm sorry. But if you start at the word and count around, you'll find 8 lines and 8 angles. 9, 9. Nona, known. 9. I don't have a 9 on the board. Oh, you know what I'd like you to do? As you do your activity, this is the one shape I want you to include. I've given you enough hints and information about shapes and the sides that they have and the angles that they have. I'm thinking you're going to have some fun. Try a couple different ways to make a nonagon. Deca. Deca means 10. Come on, you see that. Decagon. Decagon. 10 sides, 10 angles. Count them. Let's go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 lines, 10 angles. Now, some other shapes. Oh, wait a minute. Before I go on, let me lift this up a little bit because I want to make sure that you understand another part of this word. As we talk about polygons, we talked about poly means many. Gon, polygon. A shape has a specific number of angles. We talked about lines and angles, but the definition in geometry is gon. A shape has a specific number of angles. All right, now. Uh-oh. What do you remember about angles? Try 3. Quad 4. How many of you said 4? Okay. Octagon 8. 8 angles. But you know, there's one shape up here. Look at these. Look at these shapes. Look at all these shapes up here with our polygons. What shape did I not talk about yet? We talked about triangles. We talked about 4-sided shapes, 5-sided shapes, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What did we talk about yet? Yeah, I know you see that word up there, zap. Zap. This is about the most fun shape that I have ever heard of. And do you know, as I was getting ready for this lesson, I learned this. I'm learning it with you. It's called a polygon song. A polygon song. It's actually a name of a shape. And I think that's just so fun. Look at what it is. Let's see. It looks like a lightning bolt. It looks like you could zap somebody with that. It looks like it would be in the comic strips. What it really is one square. Do you see that square? And it's another square. You see that? And then it's a triangle. Well, you could have more squares. I mean, it could be bigger than this. It could. But it was interesting to me that as I was doing my research, they did the polygon song in yellow. Now, wouldn't it be fun if we could come up with a polygon song that included the zap? Yeah, I think so. That's our conversation on polygons. I know we're talking about a lot today, but I think your activity is going to be fun. We also need to talk about a parallelogram. Now, we have to think about this word a little bit. Parallel. What does parallel mean? Two lines that are the same length and the equal distance apart, like that. Okay. The best definition of a parallelogram is if I draw this line all the way out forever and ever and ever, and I draw this line the whole way out forever and ever and ever, these two lines will never meet. They will never intersect. And if I did it the same way here, I drew these lines out forever and ever and ever, they will never intersect. They are always of equal distance each way. Now let's look at the rhombus. The rhombus can be a parallelogram. It's a diamond shape. It's flat and it has 4 equal straight lines. Oh, does that sound something like a square? Yeah, I think so. Oh, they're trying to trick us here with their geometry. A rhombus looks like a diamond. A rhombus with 4 equal sides can be a parallelogram. Sorry, I tripped over my tongue. Did you ever do that? But a rhombus, you can have equal sides and still not have it meet the criteria for a parallelogram. So I would like to see you explore with that a little bit. What I want you to do over this activity is to have a lot of fun. Oh, yeah. If you're not having fun, I want you to take these geometric shapes that we talked about. You can draw your shapes. I'd like to see you draw your shapes, color them, and cut them out. Because remember, I talked about those fine motor skills that you're going to develop and strengthen in your hands. Yes. And when you're cutting, you're also developing eye-hand coordination. I'm looking at the line I'm cutting on, and I'm using my fine motor skills. And that's teaching my brain how to do it. So, draw your shapes. They don't have to be perfect. This is art. It's not geometry. We want to understand geometry so that we can apply it to our artwork. But our artwork doesn't have to be perfect geometry, okay? You got that? Yeah. No sweat, no tears. All right, I want you to draw your shapes, color them, cut them out, and then glue them or paste them onto a piece of paper and make a picture with just geometrical shapes. Oh, it can be abstract. You know what? It doesn't need to make sense. But at the same time, if you want to use geometrical shapes to create a picture of art that is easily interpreted by another person, then do that also. Remember, we talked about there's the artist, the creator, and there's the viewer, the person who looks at the piece of art and interprets it. And you're communicating back and forth. So I saw some pictures from last week's art activity. I'm hoping to see some more pictures as you move on through the art program. The next time we meet, we're going to talk about, a big word, but don't let it scare you. Biomorphic shapes. Biomorphic shapes. And I think they're going to be more fun than geometry. Okay. See you next time. Be well, be safe. Thank you. I don't know how to shut this off. There's always challenges when you're learning something. Where's my daughter Tiffany when I need her? Yeah, okay. All right. You guys can stop watching if you want to. I'll figure out how to stop this at some point in time. Oh, you know what? I know